Hello and welcome to another trip report. This time on an international intercity express train, ICE train. These are the high-speed trains of the German state-owned railway company DB from Frankfurt in Germany to Amsterdam in the Netherlands. From Frankfurt Hauptbahnhof, this is where I'm at right now, you find trains to, well, lots of places within Germany, but also international trains. You find trains to France, the Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, Austria, but also Hungary, for example. Anyway, I'll tell you a little bit more about this in the video. In this video, I'll show you the railway station of Frankfurt Hauptbahnhof, so Frankfurt main station, central station. Show you the train and I show you some views from the train. I have to say, this might be the introduction for the Frankfurt Amsterdam video, but I did that video about 1.5 weeks ago. And now I'm back. I'm right now heading to the Czech Republic. I have some days left on my interrail. So it might be that the weather is a little bit different in some parts of the video than in other parts. Anyway, I hope you like this video. If you do so, give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more train related videos, subscribe to my channel. For now, let's just roll the intro. Before we start this video, a quick comparison on the route Frankfurt Amsterdam if you're traveling by train, car and plane. Of course, trains will not clean the air, but the environmental impact if you're traveling by train is much lower than any other way of transportation, except for walking or taking a bike. In terms of travel time, it's roughly the same, although the car is the slowest one. The train is, at least to me, the most relaxing way, because it takes you in one go from city center to city center, and while I'm traveling, I can be very efficient. Or just sit back and read a book, for example. For now, let's continue with the video. Frankfurt Hauptbahnhof, or Frankfurt main station, central station, isn't just the most important railway station of the city of Frankfurt, but it's also a really important railway junction for long distance train traveling within Germany and also international trains. About 50% of all ICE trains, these are the high-speed trains of the state-owned railway company of Germany that I will also take, do call here. And at the moment I recorded this, the railway station is being refurbished. At the front there's a small information desk where you can see how it will look like in the near future. Close to this you can normally find the entrance to the lounge, but the lounge is in another place at this moment due to the reconstruction. And you find some car rental companies at the front. But for the walkthrough of the railway station, I will go from one side to the other side, so I can show you as much as possible. As you can see, this is a terminal station, at least for most trains. What basically means you have to walk to the front if you want to change between the platforms, but also at the middle of the platforms you'll find a tunnel where you can go to change between platforms. The S-Bahn and the underground, so the metro of Frankfurt, can be found right under this railway station. I will show you this in a bit. Because it's a terminal station, the layout is pretty clear. At the tracks themselves, you won't find that much facilities apart from some seats where you can wait for the train, but at the end of the track you'll find most shops and railway related services. Some of these services have been built under the railway station, like for example the toilets you can see over here. And at the front there's also something like an extension of the railway station, but then underground. Remember, you also find the S-Bahn, the commuter trains of Frankfurt, and the U-Bahn, what is the metro, under the railway station. But once again, I show you this in a bit. The railway related services can be found more or less in the middle of the railway station and or branded with the name DB, what stands for Deutsche Bahn, and this is the state-owned railway company of Germany. Basic information stands can be found at several spots at this railway station, for example here on my right. In terms of railway passengers, this is the second busiest railway station in Germany and the third busiest railway station in Europe, serving approximately 180,000 railway passengers every single day. Because it can be quite busy over here, I just advise you to keep a close eye on your luggage. At the side you find a taxi stand and a drop-off zone for railway passengers by cars, and both at the side and the front you find some more local public transport, like trams and bus stops. A parking spot can be found over here as well, although for long-term parking I don't think that this is a good parking spot. Over here I also saw this kind of shared transportation of DB, but well, I don't know that much about this. For now, let's go to the lower part of this railway station. And the advertisement here showed that this part will be improved a lot. And I think this is also needed. The metro or underground is being advertised with the letter U, what stands for U-Bahn. You will find 4 tracks over here. Frankfurt has a total of 9 metro lines, but not all trains do call at this railway station. Below the station for the metro, you will find the railway station for the S-Bahn, so the commuter rail of Frankfurt. The platform numbers here do have very high numbers. Just like the metro, you will find 4 tracks and 2 platforms over here. And these commuter trains also go to cities like Darmstadt, for example. Between the parts of the railway station where you find the underground, the S-Bahn and the terminal station, there are some more shops, as you can see over here. Like an Asian supermarket, a drugstore and well, other things you may expect at a railway station. This will also be improved a lot after the refurbishment. But for now, it's time to go to our train. Frankfurt is also quite an international railway station. I arrived here by train from Switzerland. Apart from that, you'll find trains to the Netherlands, Belgium, Austria and France. Most TGV trains that run between France and Germany do terminate at this railway station. They go to Paris and Marseille. But we're not traveling with a TGV today. Today we'll be taking an ICE high-speed train. This is the high-speed train of the state-owned railway company of Germany. And we'll be traveling with ICE International. I'll tell you a little bit more about this later on. At the platform you find these fixed composition screens that will host the composition for the trains. And these letters at the composition screens will refer to letters at the platform, so you know what carriage will be where. At the side of the train you find digital screens that will host route information, train number, car number, and fixed at the side of the train you'll find information about the class and what seat numbers can be found if you take that specific entrance. The trains that are being used on these routes are the ICE Type 3M. If you saw some of my previous videos, you also saw trains that are very much like this in China, Russia and Spain. I already featured one of these trains on exactly the same route from Utrecht to Frankfurt. And back then I told you that these trains will be refurbished soon. However, after the refurbishment of one train set of these types of trains, the railway company ICE International decided to not refurbish the other trains. And yes, I'm saying ICE International, although it might look like there's a DB logo or an NS logo on these trains. ICE International is a joint venture of both the German and the Dutch state-owned railway companies. These trains run on 3 different routes: Amsterdam-Frankfurt, Brussels-Frankfurt and Amsterdam-Basel in Switzerland. The train from Amsterdam to Basel is only 1 train per day though, in both directions. Even though there are lots of ICE trains that will go deeper into Switzerland, for example, those trains are not branded with the name ICE International. I also arrived in Frankfurt by an ICE train that came from Switzerland. That train started in Interlaken, I took it from Bern, but it also calls it Basel. That train continues to Berlin via Hanover, by the way. I did make a video about that route as well. And I will feature all other ICE International routes as well, and I will make sure that in one of these videos I will feature the refurbished train set. Besides that, I do have a lot of videos where I'll be featuring the railway stations where these trains do call. I'll make sure I'll link those videos in the description of this video, so if you want to find out more about those railway stations, just check out those videos. This are high-speed trains capable to run 300 km per hour. In this case I'm only talking about the green line, and between Frankfurt Airport and Cologne main station you'll find a dedicated high-speed track where these trains will also go 300 km per hour. Between Cologne and the border with the Netherlands, some parts are upgraded railway tracks where these trains can go pretty fast, approximately 200 km per hour, but these are only small sections. In the Netherlands, the maximum speed for these trains is only 140 km per hour. This is because it will be mixed with, of course, national traffic. There's no dedicated high-speed line, and the frequency of trains in the Netherlands is very high, why it's just not possible to go faster. For now, let's take a closer look at the interior of these trains. I shot most of this part on the route Brussels to Frankfurt, by the way, but the trains are exactly the same. And I'll start off with the second class. At the front or the back you find the so-called lounge, and over here you can have a look with the driver. Although the driver can also blind the glass over here, so that's not always the case. I had this a lot recently. Over here you'll find 10 seats, but the middle seats over here, I would not like them because you don't have a really good view from there. There's a coat hanger and some extra space for your luggage behind one of the last rows, but there are no luggage racks in this part of the train. Between all second class seats you find one power plug, and there's an entertainment system in the seats that does use a 3.5mm plug-in. I didn't test it though, but back in the days when they introduced these trains, this was quite modern. Most second class seats come in an airline style or long distance bus composition. You find a footrest, a magazine rack, a tray table you can fold out, and between the seats there's a garbage can. You can recline the seats with the handle at the side near the entertainment system, and second class comes in different zones. For example, a quiet zone, but also a family zone. So if you're traveling with children, you don't have to worry that your children might bother other travelers, or the other way around. Between the compartments throughout the train, you'll find other garbage cans you can use to recycle, basic screens with route information, and also a map that will show all train networks in Germany and neighboring countries. Second class comes almost entirely in a 2x2 configuration, so 2 seats on both sides of the aisle. At the end of each compartment you find an LED screen that will host basic route information. All doors open automatically, by the way, what is very handy, especially if you're traveling with a lot of luggage throughout the train, or if you have a lot of stuff from the dining car. Between some of these seats in the middle of these compartments you find special luggage racks, but of course you can also store quite a lot of luggage in the overhead luggage racks. You find one area where there's some extra space for people traveling in a wheelchair in second class, and a special toddler compartment is very close to this point as well. This is ideal for traveling with very young children. Close to this point there's a toilet that's accessible for people traveling in a wheelchair, and you can also turn this into a nursery space for babies. By the way, for most tickets through, to and from Germany, children up to 14 years can travel for free if they are being accompanied by their parents or grandparents. This is how the bigger toilets that are wheelchair accessible look like, and as you can see, you can also turn them into a nursery space for babies. Although I had to adjust the handle first because otherwise it didn't work. This is how the regular toilets look like. You find quite a lot of them within these trains. They are a bit smaller, but they're actually pretty fine. Even in the refurbished trains, the toilets are basically the same. Maybe they have a new toilet seat, but that might be it. More or less in the middle of the train there is a dining car. There's one spot where you can just pick up orders, and if you move a little bit more to the other direction, there are some seats, and over here you can also have a proper dinner. In the refurbished trains, this is definitely something that's way better. I posted this picture on the first section me and my girlfriend took on the trip to Italy and Switzerland. And well, the breakfast looks pretty good, doesn't it? The thing I like most about real cutlery, it just tastes better. Even though the taste will be exactly the same, it's just the experience that makes the taste better. By the way, you can also find me on Twitter, it's train_Viking, and on Instagram it's just Trainviking. Within the second class you will find 3 smaller compartments. 1 for 5 people and 2 for 6 people. Close to this point, in the open compartment, there is the only single seat in second class, as you can see here on the left. Above the seats you'll find a special display that will host a seat number, and also if a seat has been reserved, it will say from where to where it has been reserved. Tickets don't always automatically include a seat reservation, but please keep in mind, if you're using a promotional fare ticket, so Spa-prijs or Spa-schiene, you're obligated to take that specific train. For German train fares, the rule is at this moment, you pay a reservation for the first train and all connecting trains that can be reserved or for free, at least the reservation. If you're traveling first class and you have a regular ticket, this reservation is for free. This doesn't count for if traveling with a rail pass. I will make a dedicated video about train fares in Germany because it's quite interesting to know these, and I will link it in the description of this video if I have finished that video. The first class comes mainly in a 2x1 configuration, as you can see here, and as you can see on the other end of the train there's also a panorama lounge area where you can have a look with the driver, but the driver blocked the views over here, what is a kind of a pity. In first class all seats do have their individual power plug, and just like in the second class you can recline the seats as well, but you have some more leg space. There's a small garbage can between the seats, just like in second class. And something I haven't mentioned for the second class, at all windows in these trains you find a sunscreen. A tray table, footrest and magazine rack can be found within the seat in front of you. And I haven't featured none in first or second class, the seats that do face each other. I will make a video on another ICE international train that has not been refurbished where I will show you this as well. Basically this is the same, but the table is a little bit bigger, what might be useful for if you want to work on a laptop for example. Something else I haven't shown you, none in first or second class, or the compartments as you can see here on the left. Well, once again, I will make a video on one other of these trains and then I will make sure the train is pretty much empty. In first class, free newspapers will be provided, but both in first and second class you can link your mobile device or laptop to an entertainment system that also provides route information, newspapers, magazines, movies, etc. If you're using a VPN, you cannot use the onboard entertainment system, but you can still use the internet that's being provided in these trains though. And of course, route information will also be provided at the screens between the compartments and very basic at the end of each compartment. This is something that's been improved a lot in the refurbished trains by the way. Once again, I will make another video where I explain you more about train fares in, to, from and through Germany. For now, I'll show you some views from the train on the route between Frankfurt Hauptbahnhof, so Frankfurt main station, and the Netherlands. I didn't record this all the way to Amsterdam though, because it got dark at the last section of the journey. So the views will be between Frankfurt and Arnhem, the first stop in the Netherlands. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, and if you do so, give me a thumbs up on YouTube like I said in the introduction, and of course subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more trip reports. You can also support this channel financially on Patreon. I don't earn anything on this channel, and what I do earn will be directly invested in the channel again. Videos, gear, etc. So if you like to support this channel financially, you can go to Patreon. It's patreon.com/Trainviking. You can already do this from €1, dollar, pound per month. Once again, I hope you liked it and see you on my next video. If you're interested in other trip reports I did, below the description of this video on YouTube you find a link to a map, and on this map you find all trip reports I did. The lines do indicate the routes, and the station and ferry icons do indicate the station and ferry terminal reviews. Of course, I'm making some progress in making new videos, so there will be more lines soon. Once again, thanks for watching and see you on my next video.